All right, welcome back to Lower Keys Living, everybody. If you hadn't guessed it already, just from the title of the video, yes, we are visiting the Dry Tortugas in this video. One of the most epic national parks we have in this country. Just an epic trip to make down here on your own boat. Just a fun thing to do. If you don't have a boat, definitely take a look at doing the ferry or the seaplane down here, but totally worth visiting this place. But if you've got a boat, this is just such a cool trip to do and a really easy trip to make. For us, it's again about 91 miles dock to dock from Cudjoe Key to the dock here, the finger docks here at Fort Jefferson. So not a hard, difficult trip to do, easy to navigate coming on down here. Took us 3 hours and 15 minutes dock to dock on the way down, a little bit faster on the way back because what little waves they were, we were running with those on the trip back home. The boat next to us, heard they were coming down. Their customers, or the marine shop that I used, and the owner said, yep, he's got somebody else that was making this run down the same day we were. They actually were spending the weekend and camping out down there, so they were in the process of unloading their tent gear. But if you got a second boat, always nice having a boat buddy to go alongside you on the trip out in the crossing between the Marquesas and the Dry Tortugas, even though it's a nice, simple, easy trip. The seaplane activity, always fun to watch. Never get tired of watching the seaplanes coming and going. Out of here, they land right there behind the docks, and then they back into the beach right next to the fort. So on our run down, we left about 7 o'clock in the morning. It was maybe 68 degrees when we left. So nice, cool morning, really comfortable running down. Here we are just heading out past the Marquesas right now and out onto an area called the Quicksands. I'll show you those in a little bit more detail later on in the video. But the Quicksands, a nice shallow stretch over nice turquoise blue water that runs for about 20 miles. Here's just looking at Fort Jefferson from the water. Coming on in, you can see there's plenty of channel markers. What you see here, the white sandy beach, is the snorkeling beach, and you can snorkel around the fort. And then the finger pilings, the pilings that are there on the right-hand side, they've got that marked off and dedicated for snorkeling. Lots of cool fish, lots of cool things to see in there. Not the coral reefs that you can find at some of the other keys out here, not the cool coral, but lots of cool fish and cool things to see here anyway. So plus it was nice to cool off, get in the water and cool down after touring the fort a little bit. So again, you check in at the ranger station when you pull in. Make sure you print those out or have them downloaded. That's the ranger station there on the left. This is a look at the finger docks from the beach. Again, there's 9 finger docks or 9 slips available. 2 of those were occupied by the ranger boats. I don't know how long they are there. So that left 7 open. You've got the Angler 26 right there in the center. And the other boats that came down. Here you can see the seaplane is backed up onto the beach, unloading their passengers. And just a quick look at the moat on this side. This is the entrance into the fort. You can see loads of picnic tables down for you to sit at. They do fill up with once the ferry boat comes in. They all got taken pretty quickly. The ferry boat holds about 250 people. This is just a quick little pan of the courtyard in here, give you an idea of how big the fort is. To me, it's really impressive piece of engineering construction considering where it was all the way out here in the middle of the ocean. The moat walls, unfortunately, are closed right now. You can typically walk around the moat walls, but they are under construction until sometime in 2026. So right now, can't walk the moat walls. Here you can see some folks out snorkeling out there, just a pretty snorkeling area. But again, they won't be reopened until 2026. So something to look forward to. But again, just give you an idea of how pretty the water is out here at Fort Jefferson and in the Dry Tortugas. You can walk all the way around inside. Lots of information, lots of signs. I'm not going to show you videos of the signs and all the information. Leave that for you when you visit to learn about it. But again, this is a view of the massive courtyard or center area from the top wall. Again, you pretty much access everything in the fort all the way around. So really, really fun place to visit. Definitely put it at the top of your list of things to do with your boat when you come down here to the Florida Keys. Again, all the turrets around have these massive cannons mounted in there. Just a little bit of history. They had fire pits or big buildings where they would superheat those cannonballs and bring them up to fire those. Theory is they would set the boats on fire when they hit them, the ships coming in. Here, just pulling out through the channel on our way back home. We spent about 3 hours out here on the island on this particular day, and then visited some of the other little keys that are in the area just to get some more in. And then made our trip back. Trip back was a lot faster because we were running with the waves. You can see we're coming back to the Marquesas on our trip back in. Again, some really beautiful beaches there, and also some of the best permit fishing. So I'm going to jump into some more of the logistics and planning that going into the trip, and some things that'll help you if you've never made the trip before, help you get you a little more comfortable coming down here and making this run. So worth doing. Right, here's a quick summary of our trip and some tips to help make the most out of your trip, make it as comfortable and easy for you as possible. So we take off here out of Cudjoe Key, and it was 91 miles dock to dock for the trip down. It took us 3 hours and 15 minutes on the way down. We had about 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot rolling small waves coming straight out of the north at us. So we're a little bit slower on the way out, running with the waves on the way back. We're a little faster, so 3 hours door to door on the way back. But this is our route. Really like hugging the shoreline because the wind had been coming out of the north, so what little waves there were totally blocked. So we had nice glassy water all the way down past Boca Grande Beach, past the Marquesas, and then just had a little bit of waves all the way out, but a nice comfortable ride. To help plan that, we look for 3 consecutive days at least of wind finder looking like this. Really low winds, 7 miles, 8 miles an hour or under. We actually had 4 consecutive days of it looking like this before we went out. So you want to have 2 days before you go, let the waves really flatten out. It makes for a nice smooth ride out, and then go on the 3rd day. And it's nice if you have another day you can plan if you end up getting stuck or problems, you got an extra day to make your way back. But anyway, plan on at least 3 days of flat weather, 2 before you go, and then run on the 3rd day to make your trip more enjoyable. So like I said, we ran the shoreline right along Key West, and making it as straight a line as possible, out to Key West National Wildlife Refuge, Boca Grande Beach, really busy sandbar, super popular with folks from Key West, especially on the weekends, right in here. And then running past the Marquesas, this is some of my favorite places to go for permit. It's actually the best place if you're looking for permit fish in particular. Lots of wrecks out here, easy to find on your charts, but come out here if you're targeting permit. And then some of the nice beaches in the Keys are here along the west side of the Marquesas, just beautiful white sand beaches, lots of seashells. But again, we just hug these shorelines coming across. And then once you get past the Marquesas, you're out here in this area called the Quicksands. This 20-mile stretch out here at Half Moon Shoals runs 8 feet to 20 feet deep. There were a few little sandbars. They weren't quite breaking the surface, but you can see the little waves breaking on those, so just keep a heads up on those. You can see on the charts where it gets shallower. A few of those must have built up on the days that we went, but keep a heads up on it. But we ran straight across. It's nice crystal clear water, that nice turquoise blue water over the top of the sand. You can see the bottom the entire way. Lots of fish, lots of mantas swim along. Again, watch for the sandbars across there. And then once you get out here, it's only another 22 miles out to the Dry Tortugas. So again, just about 20 miles across the Quicksands, another 24 out to the Dry Tortugas from there. As you're coming in, you want to make sure there's a big channel marker out here, easy to spot. Make that right-hand turn on either side of that and head up to come around the north side of the Keys just to get around. On charts, it looks like you might be able to get across in here deep enough to come in, but you are not allowed to cross through here. So make sure you make this turnaround up and around. And you definitely don't want to cut the corner here because these sandbars stick out and it gets really shallow and close. So just look at the channel markers, watch the water and come around. And again, once you get out here, there are channel markers to follow all the way into the park. There's also channel markers that will bring you in here. Don't want to come in here because you can't beach. There's no dock over here. You could anchor and swim in, but not the recommended place to go. So just follow the channel markers around and come right on in. Again, here's the overview. You'll come around, you'll see the channel markers start out here. You got a set that will take you in here, but the main channel to come in will bring you right around here, really well marked, and you can see the seaplanes tend to land straight in here, and then they come back out and take off the same way. So really busy spot, but beautiful, nice and easy access. Just follow those channel markers in. And again, don't try and crud across here, even though charts might make you think you can. Looking up close here, so you can see the seaplanes, they'll come in, they land, they taxi over, and then they back into this beach right in here. So you'll see the seaplanes in here. The dinghy beach, our particular day, there weren't any boats. None of the boats here had dinghies on the beach. There's a 2-hour time limit on the finger docks, and the rangers said we're totally welcome to take our boat and just beach it over here if we like, since there was plenty of room over there on that particular day. When you get in, you check into the ranger station right in here, right out on the dock. And the ferry boat, this is an older photograph, probably right after Hurricane Irma, but the ferries are usually parked right across the end of the dock here. So you can go in and out. So check in there. Make sure you download your passes before you go out. Just don't have them on your phone. Make sure they're downloaded, because there's no internet, no Wi-Fi out here. So if they're not downloaded, you're not gonna have your passes. But get your park passes ahead of time. And then the finger docks that I showed you earlier in the video are right along in here. Really easy to access. They're really nice docks, set up really well with direct access to the beach. A couple of things to note on here. After you enter Fort Jefferson, the gift shop is first door on the right hand side after you come through the entrance to the fort. This area all along in here is for snorkeling. They've got the pilings here blocked off for a snorkeling area. So really well marked, but it's a beautiful area to snorkel. There's loads of picnic tables along in this area, and in this area in here is the campground area. Now, just for reference, there are no public toilets. They've got some vault toilets here for the campground. They let us use those because we were in before the ferry came in, but whenever the ferry's at the dock, you're supposed to use the restrooms on the ferry boat. And same thing, there's no food available, but you can go on the ferry boat and buy food if you didn't bring anything with you. A couple of other places to check out if you're making the long trip down. These beautiful sandbars. You got East Key and Middle Key. You are allowed on those keys from mid-October till the end of March. Hospital Key and Loggerheed Key are both closed year-round. You're not allowed to get up on those beaches at any time. Just protecting turtles, migratory birds, keeping those off limits to people. But well worth checking out, going over and just looking at those areas. And there's also some really pretty patch reefs out in here for snorkeling. So really nice snorkeling water out in there too, if you're so inclined. So just a couple of other facts for you. We burned 207, we went 207 miles round trip. We used 109 gallons of fuel for the trip. And the wreck fuel costs $3.73 a gallon right now delivered. So that was just over $406 in fuel that we burned for the trip. We bought 4 day passes ahead of time, so those are $60 each. And we spent $55 in the gift shop. Made the trip all the way down, wanted to bring back a few souvenirs. So we spent a total of $521 on the trip going down. Seems pricey for a trip, but when you look at ferry tickets are $220 a piece. So, it would have been $880 for the 4 of us to take the ferry. Seaplane tickets are almost $500 for a half-day trip, almost $900 for a full-day trip per person. So quite the pricey difference right there. Also, there's no food for sale on the island. You can visit the ferry to buy drinks and stuff. We brought a whole picnic with us for both the boat ride down, had lunch down there on the island, and had snacks for us for the ride back. Restrooms only on the ferry when the ferry's docked. There are all the vault toilets in the campground, but they block those off and lock those off whenever the ferry is at the dock, which is most of the day. And then also just keep in mind that ferry holds 250 people, so the fort gets really busy once that ferry loads down. So we're warned, hit the gift shop early before the ferry arrives, because it's the first door inside the park. So imagine 250 people cramming, coming through that gate and walking to the gift shop at once. We didn't go in there while they were there, but the manager told us it's a mob scene every day when that ferry arrives. So just keep that in mind. Hope this helped you a lot. If you make the trip out, leave me a note if you've done it before. If I missed anything, please let me know. But again, if you found this helpful, give the video a like, or better yet, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Lower Keys Living.